I'm Kerry.
And I'm Katie.
And this is Grave Silence. Let's make sure our levels are in. I'm down a little bit further because, as we know, I've got a massive fucking mouth.
You have got a massive mouth and a massive heart to match.
Well, there's a reason why I have a massive mouth, but we'll talk about that. It works for me.
Do not you make me laugh mid-swallow, young lady. Them's where the hazards lie.
They're filth. We're back on the filth. Right,
back
let's
on
check.
The filth.
I thought you was going to go into Rhiannon and come on, come on, come on. I told you, we always start with a song. I think it's to kind of just ease us into the record.
It's like a...
It's like we're toning up our voices.
It is.
We're toning our levels.
We're relaxing ourselves with a tune.
The tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips. The tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips.
The tip of the tongue, the tip of the
podcast.
Where is the
podcast? Yeah, Podpop's not with us.
He's with
today,
Nanny.
He's in shame.
He's in shame.
I don't think he is with Nanny. He's not talking to her, and that's fine with me.
No, he's not with Nanny.
But
he's God knows
absolute
where he is.
Disgusting.
Hopefully he's having some sleepy bobos and not stressed.
He is sleepy bobo's boy. I'm just bringing up my script.
Do it.
Do it.
You're starting today, my girl.
I am starting today, aren't I?
Today.
Which is it's not unusual, to be fair. Whether or not I am in any fit state to start today, to be fair. I am a tired bunny today.
But you do have to start in order to finish. And this is what we need to remember.
So they say. I don't know if I'll get through it. I'm very tired, bunny. I was awake at 5:30 this morning because the neighbour's dog was barking its bollocks off.
Nice.
And I'm not here for that.
You're not, are you?
No.
You're offended.
I am offended because, as we know, I like my sleep.
And that poor doggo.
I know, that very poor doggo. But I've tried to do my bit because I wasn't happy that said doggo was outside for the duration of most of a very hot day the other day. But I have tried to do my bit and I've tried to contact the powers that be, but they were about as much use as a nun in a dildo factory.
Right, that well.
Yeah, it works well for them. So, yeah, here we are. So I'm a very unhappy bunny at the moment, but...
It's all right. It's had a lovely lunch today.
We have had a lovely lunch today.
We've had a lovely lunch. We've had a lovely perv on TikTok. We've prioritised.
I am being a very... What's the word I'm looking for?
Bad influence? Is that what you're looking for?
Bad influence. I'm just being a bit
shameful friend? Is that what you're looking for?
Not shameful. No. I'm just being a bit of a thirsty bitch on TikTok, if I'm honest with you. And do you know what? I'm just selling the brand, all right?
You are, to thirsty men.
I'm just building up the followers.
You are, and
that's what I'm doing.
Never knock a follow, that's what I say.
Never knock a follow. We've had a few followers from it, and there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
All right, and, you know, yeah, that's all I'm doing.
It's marketing, isn't it?
And then I'm trying to build up the followers, and then hopefully... You know, I shall build up my own followers on my page because I'm going to start talking about the books I'm reading.
Your smutty books.
Still on my smutty books.
She's still on her smut, people.
I've just finished Haunted. Fucking hell, I can't talk. See, I'm so tired.
It's a good start.
See, getting the ump now
already.
It's going to start going dark. Haunting Adeline and Hunting Adeline. I've just finished those. People say that they're very dark. It's not.
Well,
I've read darker. After reading fucking Entity, which has been banned by Jodie King. Very good book. Do not read if you are faint of heart. Put it that way. It doesn't even tickle the tarts of that, shall I say. But it was a good book. It was all right. It was a good book. But if you are faint of heart, do not read fucking Entity.
Right.
So, yeah, I've been very present on TikTok trying to just build up our followers. All right.
Yeah. No, well, nobody was questioning it.
Right.
Until you brought it up. But it's fine.
But anyway, other than that, so today's case... Fuck off. Today's case...
That's my trick.
Okay. Moving along is the Menendez brothers.
Oh, this story makes me so sad.
Do you know what? This story, I have done a lot of following of this story over the years because I have got a very split down the middle on this story because I remember when it hit the headlines again, because obviously the dramatisation came out on Netflix just after the Jeffrey Dahmer one, that everyone went absolutely crazy about the Jeffrey Dahmer one, didn't they? Because Evan Peters was in it. Very hotty, very hotty. Obviously did a big loop on Netflix afterwards, and I didn't like the dramatisation of it at all.
I didn't. I watched the documentary, but not the drama.
Yeah, I didn't think it was very good. And the documentary I watched, obviously, so I've always really followed this case, so I know it quite well anyway. It breaks my heart, this case. It really does. And I know they obviously killed their parents, and like I've said before in other cases, I will never condone murder. And there's always there's a lot of conflictions in this case for me, because I do feel very strongly about murder. But I do also believe that there was a lot of abuse towards these boys. And I do believe that a lot came out regarding the sexual abuse.
So what we're going to do in our normal fashion is to go through the case without trying to give all of the evidence and the facts as well as we can, so that you guys can make up your own minds. You know that this pod is never written or never devised with any end point in mind. Every documentary you watch, every true crime documentary you ever watch, will include the facts that meet their narrative, and they leave out the facts that don't meet that narrative, depending on what that documentary wants you to feel having watched it. Whereas with your research, Kerry, you look at everything.
Yeah, I mean,
just include it and let people make their own minds up, you know?
Yeah, I provide what I've got facts to, what I've got at my fingertips. I'll provide the full story that I've got. I will provide my thoughts. You will provide your thoughts. But inevitably, you're going to make your own minds up. Yeah. And that's up to you.
And you'll always have all the facts presented equally.
And we'll have our say along the way like we always do.
Of course.
But yeah, it's always a bit of a confliction for me, because, like I said, they did what they did.
It's wrong, but
yeah. But. Anyway, and there is always a confliction of evidence along the way. So, José Enrique Menendez was born on May the 6th, 1944, in Havana, Cuba, to parents who he claimed were from nobility, aristocracy, and were very rich, until many of them were either killed or imprisoned under Fidel Castro's regime.
Okay.
He immigrated to the United States in 1960, arriving alone at age 15. Very young.
Godness?
Godness.
Goodness, that is
starting
young.
Off strong.
That is young.
That is very young. 15 on your own, no family, very young. He was living with a family friend in Pennsylvania while working menial jobs and attending school. Here, he earned a swimming scholarship to Southern Illinois University in Carbondale. He met Mary Louise Kitty Anderson, which I think I said to you earlier, always confuses me. Why, if your name is Mary Louise, would you then nickname yourself Kitty?
Don't get it.
No, don't get it. But here we are, living the dream always. Whilst in a debate class. At a 5:30 wait time. Fuck that. Whilst in a debate class, and they quickly fell in love, as most of these stories start, don't they?
Don't they just?
Kitty was born on October the 14th, 1941. I didn't realise that she was older than him. I've only just clocked that, never realised. In Oak Lawn, Illinois, and had grown up in a strict Midwestern household under her parents Fred Anderson and Evelyn Anderson. Kitty married José on the 8th of July, 1963, and they moved to New York, where he began washing dishes while studying at Queens. It's not going to carry on, people. I'm just really tired.
It will carry on, but we'll edit it out. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I'll edit out what I can. I'm fucking Jesus Christ. New York, Queens. Fucking hell, I'm really bad. Coffee.
Let's get it all out. What else can you say? No, get down, bouncer.
No, we're not going Australian already. Jesus. New York, Queens. A New York bagel company. No, Jesus Christ. She worked as a teacher. Danny Diary. Slag. Until she became a mother. I mean, some do, some don't. Jose built a career in corporate America. I mean, that's a big jump, isn't it?
From
Going
washing
from
dishes.
being like a dishwasher, getting a swimming scholarship, straight up to boom, corporate America. First at Hertz and later at RC Records. That's like boom, 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 straight up. So he became an executive known for aggressive management. I always wonder to myself, what makes that kind of person? In this case in particular, like I said, I've always had quite an interest around this case. How do you go from being a busboy, a washer-upper, to boom, executive in a records company? What gets you? And I mean, I know you've got to have drive, but that's some fucking drive, isn't it?
Yeah. And maybe he's a bit of a chameleon around his surroundings. Maybe he learned how to blag it. Because also, we're looking at the kind of 60s into the 70s, you know, it's...
Yeah, and maybe this is me
different time,
looking at in hindsight and having a little bit of conscious bias, because I look at it from, I know a little bit of background about the case, and I also look at it from my own personal bias of what I think about this particular man. Anyway, so again, he became quite the aggressive management type. So some of the artists, wait for these guys, you're going to get your tune on here, at RCA Records, included Duran Duran.
Nice.
Bit of
okay,
we'll go for a different song then. Her name is Rio and she dances on... I was going to go
fair, hungry like the wolf.
Yeah, hungry like the wolf.
Yeah, that
and
fits.
I'm hungry like the wolf. Hall and Oates. Whoa, here she comes. Watch out, boy, she'll chew you up.
Whoa, here
now,
she
Menendo,
comes. What?
I don't know any of that. Yeah, what? Exactly. Don't know any of their songs. However,
However,
I do know a young Ricky Martin.
Oh,
she bangs.
Nice.
She bangs.
She does bang. Let me tell you.
Well, she does bang. Oh, baby, when she moves, she moves. Yeah.
He goes crazy.
Yeah, she does indeed. Eurythmics.
Oh, I love the Eurythmics. Fucking love the Eurythmics. Annie Lennox.
And Starship. Don't give me you don't know Starship.
I do know Starship. I'm desperately trying to get to... There we go.
Together.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, this is the reason why I put them ones in. The songs from the 80s.
She had a lovely time writing this. She did.
Yeah,
lovely time.
That's the only reason why I put those names in, because I thought I can have a little sing-song.
Yeah.
Bit of nostalgia.
Yeah.
Hit me up some tracks. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt.
Do we have to pay the royalties for singing?
Possibly. At this point, I've said to you before, what's half of fuck all?
Fuck all.
Fuck all. And there we go. Sue us all you like. Get in
We're
there.
We're over it.
In line
already
for the royalties, because we've got fuck all. All right? Anyway, Kitty struggled with her mental health experience. Experiencing episodes of severe depression, panic and substance misuse.
Right, that's nothing to laugh about. I wish I hadn't have chuckled then. I do apologise, Kitty.
Christ, this is going
cut
dark.
That out. Let's cut that out and do that again. It never happened.
I did say to you this morning when we start this episode, when we knew we were recording tonight, this was going to be dark, because I've been up since 5:30.
It's going to be like the Pistorius episode. So let's not go down that avenue.
It's going to be about the 5'1" Oscar Pistorius episode. Did he smash in a door with a cricket bat?
I can't help it. I did picture a toddler.
Or were we looking at Jeffrey Dahmer and the Hinch moment?
Which you can't really hear, and I'm gutted about that. I'm still not
devastated.
Over it. I'm still not over it.
Still not over the
I've got
the
to send it to Thomas.
sound.
Thomas, we need your help.
Thomas.
Fix our Dharma audio, because we are comedy gold in that, I'm telling you.
SOS. Anyway. So.
Not you, Thomas.
Kitty struggled with her mental health, experiencing episodes of severe depression, panic and substance misuse. The couple's first son, Joseph Lyle Menendez, known as Lyle, was born on January the 10th, 1968 in New York, and their second son, Erik Menendez, was born on November the 27th, 1970, New Jersey. Sagittarius.
Saggy hairy ass. I can't hear that without saying that.
Jose allegedly pushed both boys into competitive sports, especially tennis, hiring coaches like Nick Bollettieri. Who is he?
I don't know.
Must be obviously a good coach, apparently. Exposing them to high-pressure environments from early childhood. So I have heard that he was quite the competitive, pressurising, bit of a helicopter dad.
I wonder if if that came from his swimming days,
possibly,
or whether, or
and
from
also
somewhere else.
Being an executive, coming from that background, wanting to thrive, wanting his boys to do well, who knows? Throughout the 1970s, the family moved frequently due to José's career. They lived in Hopewell Township, New Jersey. That was a good one.
New Jersey.
New
Yep,
Jersey.
that was good. Better than mine.
New Jersey, where neighbours later recalled Kitty's isolation and José's strictness. Lyle and Erik both attended Princeton Day School. What?
No, I was just about to say, I've Googled Nick Volaterri.
Yeah.
Volaterri even. He coached Andre Agassi, Jim Courier, Monica Seles, Venus Williams and Serena Williams, and Maria Sharapova.
He's the bollocks then?
He is the bollocks. The last time he worked as a travelling coach was for Boris Becker.
Oh, so I mean, we're talking top dog.
He was big fish. He was big fish.
He was big fish.
In the tennis pond.
So he's quite the coach then?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, well, anyway, hide him.
Right, okay, I'm glad I just had to have a look.
No, fair play, fair play. So teachers noted their emotional volatility and fear of disappointing their father. So teachers were noticing it as well. By the early 1980s, José's career had advanced significantly. He joined International Video Entertainment IVE, later part of Carolco Pictures, and moved the family to Calabasas, California in 1986. The Menendez household became known for wealth, status, and strict expectations. José demanded perfection from his sons, monitoring their grades, tennis performance, and social behaviour.
I mean, good Lord, what a pressure cooker. What a pressure cooker environment.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good, does it?
I'm all up for motivation and encouragement, but, but when it becomes oppressive.
This is the thing, and boys said quite a lot through the trial that they felt a lot of pressure from Dad. And I think later on we touch on it, that there wasn't a lot of support from Kitty in going against him. Now, whether that was fear or whether that was support of her husband, different time, different decade. Was it that 1950s-esque housewife attitude?
So, interestingly, a bit of a domineering powerhouse at home. During this time, José was perfecting his ways elsewhere.
Well, yeah.
He was up to other things during the marriage and engaging in extracurricular activities of his own.
Twat.
It was said that José held an 8-year affair with a woman based in New York. Kitty's mental health deteriorated further during this time. She attended therapy with Dr. Edwin between 1986 and 1987. He treated her due to deep depression, later sharing that she was deeply obsessed with public appearances and heavily dependent on drugs and alcohol, and viewed suicide as a way to punish her husband for his extensive extramarital affairs. Manipulative. Very manipulative, or skewed in that kind of revenge. I'll get you back, I'm resentful. While home life was painted in a different light on the exterior as it was on the interior. Lyle enrolled at Princeton University in 1987, but was suspended later for plagiarism. Erik pursued tennis more seriously, competing in junior tournaments under coaches like Mark Hefferman. The brothers' relationship with José grew volatile, them strongly resisting the pressure he was putting on them, Lyle in particular.
Yeah, I think Lyle's relationship with his dad, he would kick back a lot more. Erik seemed a little bit more subdued by him.
Yeah, malleable.
Like. Yeah.
And it's interesting because Lyle is the one that dropped tennis, went to Princeton, but then got suspended for plagiarism. So that pressure to do well, he's copying other work that's already been completed and handed in. Who knows, to meet that expectation at home?
Yeah, and I think, is that his rebellion to kick back? Is that I refuse to do what you say?
Yeah.
I'm purposefully kicking back against you.
Yeah. Erik and Lyle also alleged Kitty became increasingly erratic, sometimes screaming at José, sometimes withdrawing entirely. These claims were never corroborated by physical evidence, but they formed the emotional foundation of the brothers' later narrative. By 1988, José had become head of live entertainment, earning millions and living with Kitty and the boys in a Beverly Hills mansion at 722 North Elm Drive. The family appeared outwardly successful, but tensions inside the home escalated. Lyle and Erik began committing burglaries with friends, stealing from wealthy homes in Calabasas. José discovered their involvement and reacted with fury, threatening to send them away and cut them off financially. The brothers later said this period intensified their fear of him and their belief that he would expose or punish them harshly.
But again, it's another fuck you.
A rebellion, yeah.
It is. It's a fuck you. How dare you make us live so harshly to your standards? We have to be perfect. Fuck you.
Yeah. By August 1989, Lyle and Erik said they believed José was preparing to cut them off financially and possibly even harm them. They claimed Kitty was spiralling, drinking heavily and expressing a fear of José's temper. Whether these fears were grounded in reality or shaped by emotional instability remains disputed. What is clear is that on August 20th, 1989, the situation exploded into violence that would define the Menendez case for decades.
I don't know if he was ever violent towards her. I'm not 100% sure.
What if José was?
José was ever violent towards Kitty, and I can't fully remember in the script. I think he might have absolutely been threatening, and there was most definitely an air of fear from his temper, but I don't know whether he was physical or not.
But I wonder where that, because obviously thinking that Lyle and Erik said they believed José was not only going to cut them off but harm them, that there's an element of...
there was an allegedly some sort of harm going on.
Yes.
But obviously that's coming up anyway, but yeah. On the night of August the 20th, 1989, José and Kitty Menendez spent the evening watching The Spy Who Loved Me.
Classic.
I'm not a James Bond fan. Oh, unless it's Daniel Craig.
Then, then we're in it.
I don't mind a bit of Roger Moore, but that's... Oh, actually, Sean Connery's my favourite. Anyway, get back to it. In the family room of the Beverly Hills home at 722 North Elm Drive, José sat on the couch with a plate of berries and ice cream, and Kitty lay nearby relaxing. Lyle and Erik had left the house earlier that evening. They later said they were terrified and acting under years of accumulated fear, though prosecutors argued they were motivated by greed and anger over José's strict control of their finances. 2 days before, on August the 18th, the boys had visited several Southern Californian gun stores to buy handguns. However, due to issues with Lyle's driver's license and a 2-week waiting period mandated by gun laws, they decided to purchase 12-gauge Mossberg shotguns, along with boxes of birdshot and buckshot ammunition in San Diego using false identification stolen from Lyle's friend Donovan Goodrow. They were not fucking about.
No.
That is some serious ammunition. At approximately 10 p.m, Lyle and Erik entered the den carrying the loaded shotguns and opened fire. José was struck first 6 times in total, with the fatal shot being point blank in the back of the head. Kitty, who didn't die immediately after being shot, tried to run away but ended up being shot multiple times. Both also had gunshot wounds to their kneecap. Kitty was on the floor, crawling away from the scene when she was found. The brothers stayed in the house for several minutes, believing that the police would arrive shortly after hearing gunshots coming from the home. However, after no one came, they left to dispose of their blood-soaked clothing and to bury their shotguns near Mulholland Drive.
They then drove to a local movie theatre and tried to purchase tickets for Batman, the 1989 Michael Keaton, just in case you were wondering.
Sorry, just to say, that is the only Batman there should ever be. Apologies.
Okay.
Michael Keaton.
What?
No.
I like what's his face? Batman Begins man.
No, I absolutely adore Christian Bale as Batman.
That's him.
But there is only one Batman, and that is
Batman.
Michael Keaton.
I'm Batman.
I am Batman. It's Michael Keaton. It's the original, it's the only, and it's the best.
Okay.
Right, anyway, sorry.
So they tried to buy tickets to this movie to use as an alibi, however, abandoned this plan when they realised that the theatre time-stamped the tickets. They then headed to the Taste of LA Festival at the Santa Monica Civic Auditorium. At 11:47 p.m, Beverly Hills police received a 911 call from Lyle, who reported that he and Erik had returned home to find their parents shot. He emotionally told the operator, "Someone killed my parents," and Erik was heard screaming and crying in the background. When officers arrived, Lyle and Erik ran from the home toward them while screaming. Police did not seek gunshot residue tests from the brothers, which would have indicated whether they'd recently discharged a firearm. The brothers both falsely told officers that they were elsewhere at the time of the killings. Lyle told police that he thought the killings might be business-related, implying a mob hit. Officers and forensic staff described the crime scene as the most brutal one they had ever encountered, noting blood and brain matter splattered throughout the room. Retired police detective Dan Stewart stated, "I've seen a lot of homicides, but nothing quite that brutal. Blood, flesh, skulls. It would be hard to describe, especially José, as resembling a human that you would recognise. That's how bad it was."
I'm not surprised. It was fucking buckshot right at the back of his nut.
What does buckshot? What is buckshot?
So basically, it scatters.
Oh, it's one of those. So it doesn't stay.
No.
On impact. It
basically
explodes.
As it hits you.
Yeah.
And it comes out the other end and scatters.
Right. Okay. Got you.
So
I mean, maybe cut that out as well.
Fucking it. Scatter, you can't. So it goes. So a hollow point. I'll do my due diligence in a minute.
Yeah.
But I'm sure a hollow point goes through,
right,
and gives a clean shot.
Mm-hmm.
A buckshot sends in, and as it comes
out
it
like a firework. Got you. Okay. According to the autopsy report, one blast caused explosive decapitation and evisceration of the brain.
There you go.
And deformity of the face to José, while the first round of shots struck Kitty in her chest, right arm, left hip and left leg, with the contact shot causing multiple lacerations of the brain. In the months following the murders, Lyle and Erik began spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and living lavishly. Lyle bought 3 Rolex watches, a Porsche Carrera, and invested in a Buffalo Wing restaurant.
Nice.
In Princeton, as well as Chuck's Spring Street Cafe.
Nice.
Erik hired a full-time tennis coach and competed in a series of tournaments overseas.
Erik's really serious about his tennis.
No, I know. So, well, what am I going to do with all this money?
Tennis.
Tennis.
Straight in there, bosh. Do you know what? When you were saying earlier about going back to the point on the coming out and screaming around, running out of the house and running towards the officers and screaming, this is the one thing that really, I mean, it's not one of the only things. I've watched Erik's trial several times. I've watched it. I remember watching it when it came back out again in 2024, and I watched it back on court TV again. And I remember seeing bits and pieces of it when I was younger,
like snippets of news
in the newspapers, and I was watching it again last night as I was going back over the script, and there's a bit, and I was watching Erik go on trial when he goes to sit down in the bench. When he first sits down and she says to him, "Don't lean too much into the mic," he smirks, and I thought to myself, oh, interestingly, I wonder if he's, and I know I did this when we were talking about Burke Ramsey, and I kind of said, oh, I wonder if he's a bit neurospicy. And I wonder at first, because obviously I had this bit in the back of my mind about Lyle on the phone saying someone's killed my parents, and Erik screaming in the background, and thinking, God, that's really acting and putting it on after knowing that they'd walked in and blown them apart, and then both of the boys running out and screaming and crying, and thinking, Jesus, that's real acting. And then him sitting there and smirking. And that's why I say I was conflicted when I think about this case, because I know what they've done, and then I know that they go on and go on this spending spree, and then obviously they come on and they say about the abuse that's happened particularly to Erik, and then he comes on and he smirks, but then you hear about the abuse and you hear about some of the evidence that comes back later, and like you say, it really does sound like acting, but then the confliction between hearing about the abuse and it just sits really difficultly with you.
Yeah, of course it does. In an ideal world, they want to get away with murder, despite the reasons behind despite the reasons behind the murder. They want to get away with it.
Of course,
they do. They want to pretend I've just found them there.
Yeah.
And I think if Erik is neurospicy, or has processing issues due to trauma,
and that's
then
exactly that.
You know, then he might well think, oh, actually, what do I need to do in this situation? And I need to be really upset.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And going back to that, it hit me last night when I was watching it that I wonder, is that a neurospicy reaction? Because watching it, he slightly smirks at the beginning.
Yeah.
His face drops and it's a very nervous reaction. And then the moment she says, what did you tell your brother about your father? And that hit and wave of emotion as he says molestation, literally it tears through you. Then when you think about people saying, oh God, you can see how they're acting when they go out and they run out and they scream, and you think, yeah, they probably are. There is elements of them acting. Yes, they fucked up and they were teenagers when they did it, so yes, they probably did spend a shit ton of fucking money after they went out and killed their parents, because they were, how old? I think they were 18 and 20 at the time, but also they were horrendously under pressure and they were potentially sexually abused. It's such a conflicting case. This is why this one always messes with my head. Always messes with my head and sits with me. Yeah, it's always fascinated me, this. Anyway.
So back to the time shortly after the murders, the brothers eventually left the Beverly Hills mansion unoccupied, choosing to live in adjoining condominiums in nearby Marina del Rey. They also dined at high-end restaurants and took overseas trips to the Caribbean and London. The brothers' courtside attendance at a New York Knicks basketball game was captured in the background of a Mark Jackson trading card.
I remember seeing that.
During this time, they spent approximately $700,000. Most of this money came from a $650,000 personal life insurance policy, which was paid out.
Yeah, it don't look good, does it?
No, but again,
that's what I mean. They were teenagers.
We'll come back to this later, but
and that's yeah.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's, I can't not berate them for doing what they did and then sit there and say what I said about Gypsy Rose. But in the same breath, Gypsy Rose contradicts herself all over the place. Whereas these lads, I don't know. Anyway, Erik began seeing his psychologist, Dr. Jerome Oziel, in 1988 and continued throughout 89. During this time, the pressure of what had happened had gotten too much for Erik, and he confessed to Dr. Oziel. Oziel recorded parts of these conversations, and his mistress, Judalon Smith, what a name, Judalon, later claimed Oziel told her about the confessions and used them to manipulate the brothers.
Brilliant.
What a fucking delightful professional. Jerome. Yeah, what a delightful guy. After breaking up with Oziel, Smith eventually contacted the Beverly Hills Police Department and provided information that shifted the investigation toward Lyle and Erik. Fucking hell, what a pair. Police also heard from Glenn Stevens, a friend of Lyle's, that 1 week after the killings, Lyle had made a sudden trip back home from Princeton to destroy something in the family computer. Stevens said that Lyle told him a family member found a new will and went there and erased it. It just messes with my mind. A computer expert hired by Lyle also said he was hired to ensure deletion of a new will Jose had prepared, which May had left less to his sons. On March the 8th, 1990, Lyle Menendez was arrested outside the Beverly Hills mansion. Erik, who was in Israel competing in a tennis tournament, him and that fucking tennis, returned to Los Angeles. He does, fair play. Returned to Los Angeles and surrendered on March the 11th. Both were charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and conspiracy. In August 1990, Judge James Albrecht ruled that the recordings of Erik Menendez's conversation with Dr. Oziel could be used as evidence. Oziel had claimed that Lyle Menendez threatened him, which the court determined was enough to break doctor-patient privilege. The defence immediately appealed, and the case stalled for 2 years while the issue moved through higher courts. In August 1992, the California Supreme Court delivered its decision. Most of the tapes were admissible, except for the one in which Erik directly discussed the killings. Interesting. With that ruling in place, a Los Angeles County grand jury moved forward. In December 1992, they indicted Erik and Lyle Menendez for the murders of their parents. The allegation that the killings were committed for financial gain was dropped due to the lack of supporting evidence. Instead, the brothers were charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder with the special circumstances of laying in wait, a designation that made them eligible for the death penalty. Jesus. The hearing was overseen by Judge Lance Ito, who then assigned Judge Stanley Weisberg to preside over the trial. The prosecution, led by Deputy District Attorney Pamela Bosnich and later by Lester Kuriyama and David Conn, argued that the brothers killed their parents for financial gain. What are your thoughts on it?
See, no. I think the financial gain was a happy accident, if I'm quite honest with you. I think they killed their parents because their dad alleged abused them and their mum let him do it. That's why. I think it was finally too much and the tinder pot exploded.
Yeah, I mean, that's my thoughts, if I'm honest with you. But, I mean, we'll go into it more later like we usually do at the end. But that's my feelings. It doesn't look good what they did with the money.
I'd have spunked it up the wall as well. What were they going to do?
Absolutely.
They're 18 and 20 years old.
That'd have been me all day long.
And in order to disassociate, and probably with some fuck you mum and dad in there, it was just an extra that there was money, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Lyle and Erik Menendez's first trial opened in July 1993 with cameras permitted in the courtroom and every moment broadcast on court TV. The defence was Leslie Abramson for Erik and Jill Lansing for Lyle. From the outset, the brothers claimed they had killed their parents out of fear, describing years of physical, emotional and sexual abuse inflicted by their father, José, whom they portrayed as a controlling perfectionist and a paedophile. Their mother, Kitty, was depicted as an unstable alcoholic and drug user who enabled José's behaviour, ignoring the abuse, and at times became violent toward her sons herself. Lyle testified that José began abusing him when he was 6 years old, stopping abruptly 2 years later with no explanation. Erik said the abuse continued for him well into adulthood, right up until the weeks before the murders. He told the court that 2 weeks before the killings he finally confided in Lyle, sparking a series of tense confrontations inside the family home. Both brothers claimed José threatened to kill them if they ever revealed what was happening. They said this fear drove them to buy shotguns for protection. According to their account, the final confrontation took place in the den of the Beverly Hills mansion on August the 20th, 1989. They described José closing the den door, something they said he never did, and interpreted it as a sign that he was about to kill them. They went outside, loaded their shotguns and returned. Erik recalled, "As I went into the room, I just started firing."
And that, interestingly, it starts with Lyle and then abruptly ends 2 years later. And Lyle is perhaps the stronger and the more rebellious and the more defiant and the more headstrong and the more stubborn. Erik reaches that age. He stays in tennis like his dad wants him to. Even after they've killed their parents, he stays in tennis.
Yeah.
You know, and
because he's conditioned to do
that.
that.
And is that a part of this is what I do, you know?
And that's what has always come across to me. Everything I've watched, everything I've seen, everything I've read has always come across that Lyle is the more headstrong, the more defiant of the brothers, and the more, let's say, rebellious. I mean, they went around burgling houses in the area
and had no need to,
and had no
just
need
for
to.
shits and giggles.
Because it's a fuck you, Dad.
Yes, 100%.
Fuck you. So is that a rebellious act because of what was going on or what has happened to them? And Erik had claimed that Lyle didn't know what had happened for a while. I think from some of the things I've seen, Lyle had an idea and I think he knew something had gone on. And I think from what I remember, Lyle had threatened José and said, "Don't touch him again." And then Erik had kept it on the down low. I may be wrong in that, I'm not sure. And this is what the boys' accounts had been and what they had said. And then things had come out later against members of boy bands, the band mentioned, which we go into in a minute. But yeah.
Under California law, the defence needed to prove the brothers were in immediate danger to reduce the charges to manslaughter. Prosecutors argued that there was no evidence of imminent threat. They pointed to the advance purchase of the shotguns and to the taped sessions with Dr. Oziel, where the brothers had said they planned the killings beforehand. Prosecutors also highlighted the brutality of the attack, noting that after Kitty was wounded and trying to crawl away, Lyle reloaded his shotgun and returned to finish the job. That's some anger right there, though.
Yeah.
That's some anger.
I was having quite a conversation with my mum about this last night, and as I was doing the script, and I said the thing is that I understand their anger towards Dad, but also the frustration and the anger towards Mum would have been, why didn't you protect us?
Yes, why didn't you keep me safe?
You're our mum.
You knew, why didn't you keep me safe?
Exactly that. You're our mum. You're there to protect us. Why didn't you keep us safe?
The prosecution insisted the abuse allegations were invented, noting that neither brother mentioned sexual abuse in the months following the murders, including in their taped conversations with Oziel and Erik's earlier confession to his friend Donovan Signorelli. They argued the brothers were capable of lying in detail to avoid consequences, pointing to Lyle's staged 911 call as an example of his ability to perform convincingly under pressure. Before the trial, Lyle attempted to bribe his ex-girlfriend, Jamie Pizarczyk, to falsely testify that Jose had made sexual advances towards her. She reported the attempt to police, and Lyle admitted it on the stand before the prosecution could confront him with it.
Doesn't look good, does it?
It doesn't, but I also get
but it's
that
desperation,
I need something
I
to
suppose.
corroborate this.
Yeah.
I've got no evidence.
Yeah.
It finished with me years ago. How can I evidence how things were within my family?
It's desperation, isn't it?
And he admitted it on the stand before the prosecution.
Yeah.
I can't say prosecution anymore.
You can't say prosecution today, but also this here where it says around not admitting it to Dr. Oziel. To me, it doesn't sound as if this Dr. Oziel was a particularly trustworthy character anyway.
Chatting away to his
fucking mistress. Who's to say that you're going to open up to a particular character anyway? If Erik didn't feel any trust with this guy, the only time he opened up was about the murder. That was out of guilt of his own confession anyway at that point. So Erik hasn't even opened up to his brother over the course of 16 years of this abuse. Why the fuck would he open up to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, to say that he'd been sexually abused? At what point is he going to open up about this sexual abuse? The only reason why he said about the murder is because he felt guilty about it, about what had happened. So he's not going to open up about the sexual abuse, is he?
No.
So that's a fucking dog shit defence anyway.
So interestingly, their cousin, Diane van der Molen, testified that during a visit in 1976, Lyle told her that Jose was abusing him.
And there
she
we go.
said she told Kitty, who dismissed the claim and accused Lyle of lying. Van der Molen admitted she never witnessed any abuse directly. Another cousin, Andy Kano, testified that Erik had told him about genital massages when they were children. Prosecutors pressed him on whether he would lie for his cousin, and he denied it.
And that, to me, is enough evidence.
There's corroboration there,
exactly.
Isn't there?
That's two family members. You don't have to see abuse to know that it's happened. That's two family members that have been told by children when they were younger that it's happened.
The defence introduced two faceless photographs of young boys from the waist down, which Lyle claimed Jose had taken. Prosecutors countered that the photos were found on a roll of film mixed in with pictures from a children's birthday party and that nothing tied them to Jose. The taped therapy sessions with Oziel were played in court after the defence failed to keep them out. On the tapes, the brothers complained about their father's strictness and their mother's instability, but made no mention of sexual abuse. Lyle said killing Kitty was doing her a favour and claimed that they had shown great courage by doing it. Oziel told the court the brothers killed their parents out of hatred and a desire to escape Jose's domination, even saying Lyle believed Jose would have been proud of him for pulling it off. Defence consultant Anne Burgess argued Oziel manipulated the brothers and steered their statements. Oziel's former mistress, Judalyn Smith, testified that he wanted to control the brothers through the tapes. It kind of comes into my mind whether he's looking for some sort of future bribery, blackmail type thing, you know?
Well, that's basically what she said he was doing. I watched her. She said that he was quite manipulative. I just don't know whether or not he would have mentioned anything about the sexual abuse, because if he's not going to mention it to his brother, who he's incredibly close with, if he didn't trust this guy, why would he mention it to him?
Prosecutors challenged her credibility, pointing out that she was the one who originally alerted authorities to the recordings and only aligned with the defence after a bitter breakup with Oziel. Erik testified that he put cinnamon in his father's drinks to make his semen taste better, a claim prosecutors argued was implausible because cinnamon has a strong, detectable flavour.
What the fuck has that got to do with anything?
Jesus.
Sorry.
That's all right. It's all right. That kind of comment begs belief, but there we go. Because he would have known. Jose would have known and then wouldn't have drunk it and blah-de-blah-de-blah. Prosecutor Lester Kuriyama suggested Jose's anger stemmed from fears Erik might be gay, but Judge Weisberg blocked him from pursuing that line of questioning.
Good.
Thank you, Judge. The defence called Kuriyama's theory disgusting, as it is, while Kuriyama argued it was relevant because a witness had seen gay pornography in the house.
Oh, for God's
which would carry different implications depending on whether it belonged to Jose or Erik. Erik said his mother made him believe being gay was worse than death and insisted he was attracted to girls.
Jesus, where? But exactly that. How do we know whether or not that did belong to Jose? Because if it did belong to Jose, do we know the age of said pornography?
Well, exactly. If he's allegedly abusing his sons.
Because whether it was male pornography or not, I don't give a monkey's chuff if it was male, as long as it's of the age of consent, obviously. Whether or not he was gay and wasn't telling kids, that's his business, you know, just be honest and end the marriage, blah, blah, blah. I know it's a different time, different era, etc., so forth, whatever. But if it was child pornography, different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
Prosecutors attempted to introduce a high school screenplay Erik had co-written titled Friends with a classmate, Craig Signorelli, telling the story of a wealthy young man who commits the perfect murder by killing his parents for their inheritance. Oh, that does not look good, does it? That does not look good looking back. Signorelli contacted police to report that Erik had confessed to him and also reported his and Erik's authorship of the Friends screenplay. Oh, shizer. In an attempt to get a recorded confession, police arranged for Signorelli to wear a wire during a lunch with Erik. Then Signorelli asked whether he had killed his parents. Judge Weisberg ruled it too old to be relevant. He also barred the prosecution from using the word sociopath in front of the jury after Oziel claimed the brothers had described themselves that way. Weisberg said the term was too prejudiced. Psychologist Anne Tyler testified for the defence, describing Erik's earlier burglaries, more than $100,000 in cash and jewellery, as typical adolescent acting out.
Well, I mean, if your dad's a multimillionaire, maybe it is. You're just within those circles, aren't you?
I typically, air quotes, acted out as an adolescent. Typically my arse, but I did not steal in cash or jewellery £10,000 worth of anything, let me tell you. However, so when deliberations began, the jury split sharply along gender lines. With this, I found really interesting when I was writing this. So female jurors leaned toward voluntary manslaughter and male jurors pushed for first-degree murder.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting? Because I would absolutely lean towards voluntary manslaughter. Like I said, I was having this conversation with Mum yesterday and I thought it's an empathy thing all day long.
Yeah,
it's an empathy thing because this case conflicts me straight down the line. Because of my black and white side, I can't deal with people not seeing through things when I know that they've done wrong. But because I feel in my gut and I feel in my heart of hearts that I just feel that they've been through this horrendous abuse, and I have that empathetic side for them, and I just can't let it go, I would go down the manslaughter side for them. It fascinates me that all the men are pushing for first-degree murder.
Very interesting.
So after a month of deadlock, the trial ended in a mistrial in January 1994. Los Angeles County District Attorney Jill Garcetti chose to retry the brothers rather than offer a plea deal. Lyle and Erik's second trial drew far less attention, largely because Judge Stanley Weisberg barred cameras from the courtroom this time.
Good man.
I think so. I think, come on, Jesus, it's a lot. I haven't watched so much of Lyle's, but I watched a lot of Erik's. There's a lot of hours. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Erik this time spent 15 days on the stand describing the abuse he said he suffered at the hands of his father. He also claimed José told him he had been written out of the will. Weisberg began restricting portions of Erik's testimony on the third day and capped the defence at 64 witnesses. Lyle did not testify at all in the retrial. Defence expert John Wilson testified that Erik showed signs of PTSD consistent with long-term trauma. And that's what I was trying to say earlier when I was saying about those signs when I first watched it. It does give that neurospiciness, that first sign of nervousness, but also those signs of, like I was saying with Bert, that fidgeting, that smiling, not that neurotypical, you know, not knowing how to react. And she says to him, don't come forward too much to the mic because it's going to pop. And then he comes back and he doesn't almost know how to react. He's going back and forth and he does smile, but his eyes are fidgeting. I didn't click until last night. And then I just thought, I wonder if he's a bit neurospicy. But also a lot of those symptoms and those traits are heavily related to trauma. And then of course PTSD is a massive
factor in that.
Massive factor. Prosecution expert Park Dietz countered that PTSD could not be confirmed because the abuse itself was unproven, and argued Erik did not exhibit learned helplessness, pointing to his gun purchases and shooting range practice. Leslie Abramson argued the brothers acted out of fear that their parents could harm them for threatening to expose the parents' secrets, calling the killings a highly emotional overkill.
Do you know what? I think that's more likely if there was some sort of showdown. If there was some sort of big confrontation around this abuse and around mum, why the fuck didn't you do anything? Dad.
Yeah, it's big. One thing that hasn't been mentioned in this case, though, that I did want to say, and I didn't put in the script, that interestingly enough, Leslie Abramson, previously to her taking on Erik as his lawyer, the case that she won before this, she won the case. I think he murdered his parents or he murdered somebody. I can't remember now off the top of my head. She defended him by saying that he was sexually abused. And I think that that was raised. Now, I'm not saying that obviously this happened in this case. We've got the evidence from the cousins, and I think later we hear it in a minute about the band member that comes forward about José, and there's a few other bits and pieces. There was some letters that were found. Again, we'll say about that. But I just wanted to put that in there, that it has been raised around her doing that. So Weisberg ruled there was not enough evidence to show the brothers were in imminent danger. He allowed the defence to argue that José's killings could have been a heat of passion homicide, but not Kitty's. He said the evidence suggested José might have provoked his sons, but nothing indicated Kitty had done the same. Clara Wright, the wife of the attorney hired by the brothers, testified that Lyle and Erik brought a safe to her home after the murders, hoping it contained a copy of the parents' will. The safe was opened 2 days later in front of their uncles, Brian Anderson and Carlos Barrett, and found empty. Con argued this showed the brothers were trying to access their parents' money as quickly as possible. Ultimately, Lyle and Erik were convicted of 2 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances for lying in wait, along with conspiracy to commit murder. In the penalty phase, they were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Both brothers filed motions for a mistrial, claiming misconduct and ineffective representation had irreparably harmed them. On July the 2nd, 1996, Judge Weisberg formally sentenced them to consecutive life without parole terms for the murders and the conspiracy charges.
The Menendez case moved through the courts in a long, grinding sequence after their 1996 convictions. In February 1998, the California Court of Appeal upheld both brothers' murder convictions, and by May, the state Supreme Court refused to review the case, locking the appellate's decision in place. Their final option in state court was habeas corpus, and both petitions were denied in 1999. Lyle told Barbara Walters in 1996 that, quote, "Our start to prison life was tremendously painful, and that Erik had gone on a hunger strike in an attempt to keep them together. It didn't work. They were separated, placed in different facilities, and left to adjust to prison life alone." For more than 20 years, the brothers lived their sentences on opposite ends of California. Lyle was held at Mule Creek State Prison in Ione, while Erik was kept roughly 500 miles south at Richard J. Donovan in San Diego County. The separation was total. They didn't actually speak for years. Their only contact came through letters, and at one point they kept a chess game going through the mail.
That's dedication, isn't it?
I know, right? After 22 years apart, the reunion was immediate and overwhelming. They both broke down crying.
Aww.
Lyle whispered, "Finally," a word he later repeated to Daily Mail TV, describing the moment as something he'd never been sure would happen. He called it remarkable, a release of years of uncertainty and isolation.
That's savage, isn't it?
Yeah. Lyle's personal life inside prison unfolded with the same suspended, surreal quality that defined his incarceration. He built a structured purpose for himself at Mule Creek before his transfer. He served as president of the inmate government, a role that gave him a degree of responsibility and influence most prisoners never experience. He also worked in a support group for men who'd survived sexual abuse, something that connected directly to the trauma he and Erik had described from their own childhood. On July the 2nd, 1996, he married Anna Erickson by telephone, with Leslie Abramson and his aunt Marta Menendez present and Judge Nancy Brown officiating. The marriage ended on April the 1st, 2001, after Erickson discovered he'd been writing to another woman.
How'd you do that?
Mate.
What a dirty little rat.
Mate.
Come on, Lyle. Sort it out,
Come on,
mate.
Lyle.
Fucking... How'd you... Right. I'm sorry. How'd you have the fucking cheek and the gall to cheat in prison?
To cheat in prison. Fuck's sake. In November 2003, he married Rebecca Sneed in the visiting area at Mule Creek. They'd known each other for about a decade before their engagement, and the relationship lasted more than 20 years before they separated in 2024.
Well, there we go. Fucking cheater skeeter. Christ. Erik's marriage, though, carried its own unusual rhythm.
Of course it did.
On June 12th in 1999, he married Tammy Ruth Sakoman, there you go, in the waiting room of Folsom State Prison. Do you know about Folsom State Prison? That's where Johnny Cash played.
Oh, okay.
The Man in Black. He played for all the prisoners.
Right.
But do you know that Johnny Cash never actually went into prison? Prisoners absolutely loved Johnny Cash because they thought he was a little bit of, you know, a little bit of a woe, a little bit of a way, a little like that. But he never actually went to prison.
Oh.
I think he got arrested for like a one-night thing. Do you know what I mean? Not being a bit of a cheeky whatnot. But he never actually went to prison for anything. But prisoners loved him, the Man in Black.
Wow.
Sorry, that's my little fact on Johnny Cash.
That.
Love a bit of Johnny Cash. Anyway, moving on. So, she later described the ceremony with bittersweet humour, saying their wedding cake was a Twinkie.
Oh, nice.
Classy. And that they improvised everything. It was meaningful until she had to leave him behind. Oh, turning the night into one of the loneliest she had ever experienced. Oh. In a 2005 interview with ABC News, she said the relationship was something she had dreamed about for the longest time, something she never believed she would have. She and her daughter drove 150 miles every weekend to visit him. Fucking hell, that must be some diesel.
Mm-hmm.
And her daughter began calling him her Earth Dad.
Oh, does that mean her actual dad's in heaven?
Well, I don't know, but I don't think I like the name Earth Dad.
Earth Dad.
It's giving me the heebie-jeebies, if I'm honest with you. But anyway. So Erik spoke openly about the emotional weight of his life sentence in a 2005 interview with People magazine. He said Tammy was what kept him going because thinking about the sentence himself filled him with sadness and a primal fear, which I'm pretty sure it would. Life imprisonment is... Yeah. And I mean, they fucking mean life.
They do mean life.
America. It's not like over here when they say life and you get, 5 years, a smack on the wrist and a fucking Mars bar for your troubles. Do you know what I mean? When he allowed himself to confront it, he broke into a cold sweat. Speaking of
cold sweat,
no, prison time. Ian Beale's only got 8 months in EastEnders, isn't he?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sorry. Ian Beale, 8 months in EastEnders. I was thinking the other day, he'd be out in 3, wouldn't he?
What's he done?
Well, he's run over Jordan, who's a little lad in there.
I haven't watched it for years and years.
Sorry, ADHD break off, kids.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking prison time, and my thoughts is, when they say life in imprisonment, like I said, in America, they get life, don't they?
Yeah.
It is life.
Mainly, yeah.
Life over here is, well, you get 3 years and a bit of community service and maybe a letter from the Queen 5 minutes later. Ian Beale's just got 8 months for hitting Jordan and the possibility of him using his legs again.
Right.
So he'll probably get 2 weeks in and a duff at the end of it.
Ian Beale, the character, or Adam Woodyat, the real person?
Not Adam Woodyat, Ian Beale.
Ian Beale, right.
In the soap.
8
months in the gulag.
Got ya.
He'll be back at the Vic before we know it. Supping a pint. With Alfie and Kat.
Of course. Oh, they're back in it, are they?
They are. Right. They own the Vic now.
So
anyway.
Again, right.
Yeah, like I said, moving on. ADHD's a bitch, people. It's a nightmare. Where did I get up to?
Especially when you're tired, you girl.
When I'm really tired.
And then you went, ear.
I got up to cold sweat and then I went, ear. Primal fear, cold sweat. When he allowed himself to confront it, he broke into a cold sweat. He admitted that he had never fully come to terms with the reality of spending the rest of his life in prison. The case resurfaced decades later in 2023. Like I said, 2024, I was watching shit. In 2023, the brothers requested a new hearing based on allegations that José Menendez, here we go, had raped former Menudo member Roy Rossello when Rossello was 14. Rossello publicly stated on NBC's Today that he had been drugged and assaulted while visiting the Menendez home in New Jersey. So, again, that's another bit of evidence to come forward, isn't it?
So, contextual,
and this is what I mean. Like, it's all very well saying that these lads have gone out and spent all this money and X, Y, Z. And like we said, they were what? I'm sure they were 18 and 20, if I remember off the top of my head. What 18 and 20-year-old isn't going to get hard at the fact that they've got fucking 700 grand at the fucking tips of their fingers? Yeah. These lads are going to have PTSD and God knows what else after whatever's happened to them. I just think, their appeal also cited a 1988 letter Erik had written to his cousin Andy Kano. So Andy Kano was the cousin that came forward previously as well, describing abuse inside the home. Author Robert Rand said he discovered the letter in Kano's dresser in 2018. On October the 3rd, 2024, Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon announced that his office was actively reviewing the appeal. 3 weeks later, he said he would formally ask the court for a resentencing. He made clear he did not believe manslaughter fit the case because of the premeditation involved, but he also stated that the brothers had endured severe dysfunction and molestation in the home. His recommendation factored in their decades already served and their conduct in prison. If a judge accepted his request, both brothers would become eligible for parole. And I remember in December 2024 watching TikTok, YouTube. I remember setting alarms on my phone, waiting for the days coming up, thinking, when am I going to hear about this retrial? Buzzing to hear if they were going to get a retrial, to find out if they were going to get a parole. Because I just kept thinking to myself, they've served time for what they've done. Yes, they've murdered, but these lads have fucking been through the ringer. And actually, when you look at what they've done in prison, for instance, what Lyle had done around supporting lads with sexual abuse and things, they've been separated. Their 2 main connections that they had with each other, they've been pulled apart. Give them a break. They've done it. They've done their penance. And I just kept thinking, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? And it just kept pushing back and pushing back and pushing back. So pushed later back to January 2025, then postponed again to March the 20th because of the Los Angeles fires. On March the 21st, it was delayed again to April 2025. On March the 24th, Governor Gavin Newsom announced on his podcast that June the 13th, 2025 would be the deadline for the brothers' resentencing. In May 2025, a judge resentenced the Menendez brothers to 50 years to life. a decision shaped by California's youth offending provisions, which recognise that defendants under 26 at the time of their crimes must be considered for eventual parole. For the first time since their 1996 convictions, the possibilities of release existed, not guaranteed but legally available. The possibilities closed almost immediately. On August the 21st, 2025, Erik appeared before the California Board of Parole hearings. The board denied him parole, citing ongoing rule violations had concerns about public safety. The next day, Lyle faced the same board and received the same outcome. His denial referenced repeat cell phone infractions, a pattern the board reviews as evidence of continued boundary breaking even after decades in custody. Both brothers were given a second chance on paper, eligibility for another hearing in 2028, but the 2020-2025 denials underscored how steep the climb remains, even with a resentencing that technically opened the door.
Fucking hell.
I remember the pushback, and I sat with bated breath on all of them, and I was like, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? And like I said, the whole way through, this case always fascinated me because I am a very black and white person, and I try so very hard to see grey areas in stuff because it's something that I struggle with, and I can be very constricted around things because I don't like unfairness.
You have a strong sense of justice.
I do have a strong sense of justice.
And there ain't nothing wrong with that.
And I don't like unfairness, and I don't like people being held unaccountable for stuff, and that's probably why I take a big interest in true crime. But they held their hands up. Erik literally, once he found out that Lyle
handed himself,
was arrested, Erik handed himself in.
Yeah.
He confessed to his psychiatrist. They were eaten up with guilt. Yes, they went on a spending spree. They were 18 and 20. But how many people hold your hands up and go,
yeah,
I wouldn't have done that?
I do think
it was a fuck you to their parents.
Totally. I do think there's an element of disassociation in there as well, because they have had been so restricted and constricted by the actions of both their parents not believing the abuse or knowing that the abuse was happening and ignoring it. When the cousin went to the mum about what had happened, said Lyle was a liar.
She ignored it.
She called him a liar. She didn't just fucking ignored it. She called him a liar.
Yeah.
And
that boils my piss. I hate being called a liar. Yeah.
It's a big fuck you. So fuck me, I understand that rage, and I also understand that suddenly you sit there in the house waiting for the police to turn up, but no police officer does.
Yeah.
And then you think, hang on a minute, we could maybe
not
go to prison for this.
Yeah. And for a
let's
split
go
second.
and try and go and see Batman. Do you know what I mean? All that thought, they hadn't planned what was going to happen afterwards.
Best Batman, by the way. Anyway, sorry, but
they hadn't planned what was going to happen afterwards. They hadn't. I don't honestly believe there was a huge amount of premeditation. Yes, they went and picked and bought the guns. I believe they did shooting as an activity anyway, that they were able to shoot because they went to ranges and stuff as part of their upbringing and things like that. They were certainly in circles that would be very much,
circles.
You know, that would be very much a typical thing to do with all the other sport and everything else. So I can see that they would feel at risk if things were getting more, that if there was more conflict in the house, if there was more fuck off, you don't touch me again, if there was more Lyle going, I know what you've done to Erik, I know it wasn't just me. It wasn't just me, and you're doing it to my brother. And you're still doing it to my brother. You know?
Would I have been fucking raging if my little brother had come to me and said that he'd been abused for 12 years by my dad after I'd been abused, allegedly?
And the brother guilt that you're feeling about that it stopped with you and started
I've not
with
been
him.
in that position to say,
you know,
that I wouldn't not do that. Who knows? Who knows what people do to defend their loved one?
And what do we always say,
what
right?
I mean?
What do we always say? Reasons, not excuses, right? No. And this doesn't make murdering your parents okay.
No.
Doesn't make it okay. However, I fucking get it. If there were a reason, if there were an iota of a mitigating circumstance,
do you know what? They've done their time. Let them out.
If they were in the UK, they'd have been released after 10 years, maybe, tops.
Yeah, 25 in the UK is life. they'd have been out for good behaviour by now. My personal feelings, and it's my personal feelings, if you don't like it, switch off, fuck off.
You don't have to agree.
My personal feelings are, sorry, been awake since 5:30, really don't care at this point. My personal feelings are, with these lads in particular, I don't think they're a danger to anyone else.
No. And the whole being denied, for me, feels like a load of bureaucracy. When they stand in front of that parole board to panel, they've done work with sexual abuse victims. They've done work on the prison, like council. You know,
they've not done a gypsy rose.
No.
They've not manipulated anyone else.
No.
They've not sat in prison walls and tried to go on social media and do X, Y, Z. They've done good work while they've been in there. They've done their time. Let them come out and be with their families.
I happen to agree with you on this occasion.
You know,
I don't
everyone. There was a
risk to the public.
A lot of people back in. I remember in 2024 or in 2025 when we were all kind of sitting there and waiting for it all to come out. When all the the dramatisation was come out and it was all big news and everything. And there was a lot of people backing the Menendez brothers because of what they knew about it, everything that come out and the new evidence and the letter that had come out, the cousins that had gone forward and said stuff. I just don't feel as if these lads would be a problem for anyone else.
No, I agree. I agree. And again, it is conflicting, but there we have it. Life is never that simple, is it?
No.
It's black and white, and then there's the morally grey areas.
And I doth be proven wrong in my moral stance on black and white. Push my limits. Push me buttons and all that.
They've been pushed.
And push me buttons and all that. But anyway, we have been asked to look at the Chillenden murder.
We have.
Which is very local to me.
Ooh.
Very, very local to me. However, what we're going to do is we are going to wait until, so there is a little bit about the DNA.
For Michael Stone.
There is for Michael Stone.
New evidence.
So we're going to wait until that comes to light until we do that. There's a couple of others that have been asked of us by close followers, but happily put forward some more cases. There's a couple of others I'm trying to think off the top of my head now. Because
what he's been asked for: Jill Dando, Marilyn Monroe,
lovely
John Wayne
Ronnie.
Gacy,
Peter
Tobin.
So we've had a few. The lovely Ronnie has asked us for Marilyn Monroe. We are working behind the scenes and I'm editing my bollocks off to get them out in between the smut and the day job. So bear with, they are coming thick and fast, but do go and watch the others. I'm very sad that, and I know that it is a bit of a triggering bastard.
It's a hard listen.
It's a tough listen, but do go and listen to Rolf Harris because there are our usual rants on there and there is a delectable song for you to listen to.
There is. What I will say to you is, right, if you like us, if you
know
like
us.
what we're doing, share us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell other people.
Yeah.
Don't just... It's wonderful to have feedback from you guys.
And we have had
you like what we're hearing,
amazing feedback.
And we're so lucky to have you guys as followers in our lives and to be our cheerleaders.
Absolutely.
In this.
We went to lunch today and we have had amazing feedback. Megan gave amazing feedback, didn't she? And Chrissy was giving us some lovely feedback. Yeah. And we hear some amazing feedback from you guys. So please, please, please share us with all your followers. The more
friends,
the merrier, because
your family.
The more that we get out there, the more that we can do, the more time and effort we can put into it. And we know that Rolf can be very, very triggering, but we do rip it out of that nasty, vile little wanker. So go along and listen to that because there is no way, shape or form he does not feel the wrath of our tongue. As you know, we do not let him get away with lightly.
And if you're new here and this is the first one that you've listened to, go back. There's a little back catalogue now. Keep you busy.
Yeah, we do know that obviously some of them were a struggle in the beginning with the audio, but again,
we're learning.
Trudge through.
We bought cheap mics.
we did. But it does get better, obviously. But do share us, please, and go on the socials, share us. We are planning on not just putting the clips out there. As we get like further in, it will be us pointing it out rather than just me putting the clips up. But again, it's time. I've got to squeeze it in between work and editing and things. So sometimes it is just a quick fix to pop it out there. But so you're gonna have to put up with my mush, I'm afraid. And then sometimes it'll be Katie, sometimes it'll be both of us. Just again, like, share, follow us on the socials, get behind us, because we love hearing from you.
We do, and we love doing this.
But
and
anyway,
we want to keep doing it.
You beautiful, sexy bastards.
You beautiful bastards.
We're off for now. Get on the socials, on the TikTok, Faceache, Insta.
Yeah.
The other one.
Because
I can't remember the name right
Spotify.
now. That's it. Fucking hell. YouTube. And we will be back next week. Hopefully a lot brighter, a lot less tired. A little bit more awake, with another new fresh case for you. Tutty bar for now.
You'll take care now, you hear?
That's a little bit American, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Anyway,
Tippy
Pippins and all that jazz. Take care of you.